This is Up for Debate, episode number 207, recorded May 20th, 2021. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Up for Debate, the debate podcast for the two hosts agree on everything. I'm Sean Jennings, joined by the man with three green thumbs. It is Matt Mariani. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Sean. How are you doing today?
I'm blooming with excitement.
Sean,
how about yourself?
The sun is shining, the air is fresh, the grass is green, and so it looks like summer is right on the horizon.
That's right, and that's why we're here to talk about the War of 1812. Matt, very relevant topic.
Best war ever. Does anybody actually think that? I don't know. I'm sure there's some people out there.
No, it's pretty. I guess it's interesting.
The White House burned down in the War of 1812.
It did. What a shame.
But you know what didn't burn down? Our enthusiasm for gardening.
So you're saying our enthusiasm for gardening did not burn down in the War of 1812?
No, it didn't. It actually grew stronger than ever. Much like the plants that I have going in the garden of my home currently.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but I guess that's sort of true. Matt, last week we talked about ice cream. And that was a free-flowing discussion. But I think ice cream was something we both had experience with. It's fair to say. Tonight's topic you chose, gardening. Now, I have no experience gardening. Do you have experience gardening?
I will say that I have some experience gardening.
Okay, that's good.
I can say that after successfully planting several plants in my backyard and having them not die just yet. It's already been a couple days, and they look great. So, technically, I'm a gardener now. Right? Isn't
That's
that how it
a
works?
reasonable goal.
You bake a cake, you're a baker. You play an instrument, you're a musician. You plant a
You're a garden hobbyist, perhaps.
Okay, I'll take it. Where to begin? Where should we begin about gardening?
Buddy, you are in the driver's seat.
Okay. This is a dangerous place to put me.
So I've got no idea where to go. So
when we're talking about gardening, gardening is, believe it or not, Sean, one of the easiest things that anyone can do. It's so easy to be a gardener. It's like it's unbelievable how easy it is.
Can you cite your source on that?
My source is I didn't have to, like, for other things, like if my computer breaks down, for example, or if I have a problem with something else in the house. I usually have to, like, do a lot of research and read a ton about something in order to fix it. But with gardening, literally dig a hole, put the plant in the ground, cover the plant, and you just sit and wait. Everybody should be a gardener, and I don't think there's any excuse if you're not a gardener already.
I mean, Matt, I don't want to accuse you of anything. I don't think that's really fair of me. I'm not in a position to do that. That being said, your experience gardening is just putting a plant in the ground. Do you have any, like, proof it, like, will live?
They're alive right now. It's been a couple of days, and I haven't killed them. So I'm a very successful gardener at this moment. At this moment in time, my garden is very successful.
Okay, Matt, I'm rooting for you, buddy. I'm rooting for you. What did you plant? Break it down for me.
So here we go. First of all, I did not know this, but there are many different types of tomatoes. So I planted tomatoes, but I planted a wide variety. So here are the types that I planted. They have very interesting
red.
names. Most of them are red.
Okay.
I planted 2 tomatoes of the Best Boy variety. They're called the Best Boy.
Okay.
I planted 1 that's called the Early Girl tomato.
So you have the Best Boy and the Early Girl?
2 Best Boys and the Early Girl. The earliest girl.
Huh.
And that's the first like quadrant of my garden. I've also got in there a a cherry tomato, because who doesn't love a good you'll snack cherry tomatoes? I have another tomato that I bought by accident called the German Queen. I did not mean to get the German Queen. I was trying to buy a different kind of tomato, and I think somebody put it in the wrong section, and I didn't see the tag until I got home. So I ended up with this German Queen tomato that is in there. We also have another accidental tomato called the Yellow Gallon tomato. These are not red tomatoes, Sean. These, believe it or not, these are yellow tomatoes.
I think that means they went bad.
I don't think so, because they haven't actually bloomed yet. They're just it's just like a little it's just a little like stem. I just typed in Yellow Gallon and it came up with paint. So let me change that to tomato.
Did you know that tomatoes are
go.
technically berries?
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
so are cucumbers, eggplants, and bananas.
Yes, I really hate that fact, but it's true. It is true.
Wow.
It is the germinating floral part of the plant. So it's actually the I think it's like the seed carrier, which is what a berry is essentially. It has all the little seeds in it. So it's like the pollinated zygote. Yeah. Yeah, so the Yellow Gallons, which I think are also appear to be called Golden Jubilees. I don't know if that's the same tomato, but they're interesting. They're yellow. I've never had a yellow tomato. But it would look pretty good, I think, chopped up in like a nice salad. And then I've got the classic New Jersey tomato, the Rutgers tomato.
Ah, yes, famously graduated from Rutgers.
It did. It has its degree. And it is on its way to Seton Hall. No, it's a New Jersey tomato. Did you know that Rutgers is one of the premier schools for biotechnology and for things like plant cybergenetics?
I had absolutely no idea.
Rutgers is very big on that. That's why they literally gene spliced their own tomato. I hope to be able to do that someday. That is a
dream big.
That is a dream. That is a dream. And I think that wraps up the tomatoes. In addition to that, I've just got some basil in there, which was super easy to plant. The tomatoes took some effort because you have to dig like a wide hole for them. But the basil was like not very wide. So they're in there. They're doing great. I planted some mint because I did see on the internet they said mint is a natural insect repellent. Insects stay away from mint. So if you plant some mint, then you should be good. It's a good thing to have around. Only problem is it grows like a weed. So it will kind of like scatter all around. So you got to keep it under control there.
Now, did you know that growing basil about 10 inches apart from the tomato plant will increase your yield of tomatoes by about 20%?
No, I didn't. But that's good. That just makes sense, right? Because tomatoes and basil go together, like on a nice pizza.
Bruschetta.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, that's very exciting, Matt. Do you have any plans for what you're going to do with all these tomatoes?
Probably eat them and give them away to people. I'm going to be. Right. I have always wanted to be that person that when you come over, that person that bothers you to look at their tomatoes, like before you do anything else. Come on, we got to go in the backyard. You got to see these tomatoes. I always wanted to be that person. So now I can fulfill that dream, assuming that these plants don't die. But you know what, Sean? They cost like $3 at Home Depot. So if one dies, I'll just go buy another one.
Matt, I love your disregard for life. That's what. Apparently, you can just buy life and just kill it as much as you please. That's cool, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. It is quite interesting. interesting. I broke my wife's trowel, by the way.
Oh,
I used her little trowel to. I did a bad thing. I tried to. I was like putting the poles in, like the tomato poles, and I used the trowel as a hammer, which I don't recommend doing. My number
Definitely
one
not
tip
supposed to do that.
for gardening: don't use the
no.
trowel as anything other than digging. You're gonna put the sticks in. You go get a hammer from your house. I was too lazy. I used the trowel and it broke. It shattered. And the Home Depot, lo and behold, they said they've been sold out of them for weeks. So I had to dig the rest of the hole, Sean, using my bare hands.
Oh my god. Matt, unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Planting is fun. I think I could do this. I could see myself doing this every year. Matter of fact, I think like halfway through the year, I want to plant some squash. That way, I'll have something to harvest when it comes like fall. Like
those grow like crazy. You got to be careful.
Yes, that's what I've heard. They flower quite a bit.
You'll be drowning in those.
But down the line, I'd also maybe like next year, I might do like a bed, like a small garden bed. Right now, I have them
to sleep in.
I have them up against. It's kind of it is a bed, but it's up against the fence, like toward the back of my house. There's like a fence, so I've got them growing up against the fence on poles. So someday, I would like to invest in like a nice bed. Only problem is that will kill the grass in that area, so it's kind of a permanent thing. But it could be fun. It could be a nice thing. So, this kind of goes along with our episode about beekeeping, right? Remember we talked about beekeeping?
We did on our For Dummies episode during the original March Madness.
So if you listen to that episode and this one, you'll be ready to garden and you'll be ready to keep bees.
Are you planning on keeping any bees, Matt?
No, I don't think we're zoned for that. I'm not sure. I think you probably have to live like really far apart, I'm guessing, from people.
No, we talked about it on the episode. You can have bees in cities.
No, you're right. We did. So
There's no law against bees.
Probably totally zoned for it then. I don't know. I think it would be interesting. The only thing is though that I'm very afraid that that they will swarm because
they'll turn on you.
They'll turn on me. Yeah. If anything happens, I would be the person that would try to handle the queen and get like maybe a little too rough and maybe squash her, and then there would be a rebellion in the hive, and I would be the target. I would be executed.
And while that would be hilarious,
yeah,
would not be good.
That is the fear behind that. But it does seem kind of cool. YouTube stopped recommending me beekeeping videos, but now that we're talking about it a lot, maybe they'll come back.
I was going to say they probably stopped out of your own personal safety, is my guess.
They heard what I was saying, and they were like,
yeah,
"This guy should
they're like, we shouldn't
be around
him
bees. It's not for him. We'll just keep recommending him video game stuff because he can't get hurt or hurt others."
That's right.
With that, yeah, gardening is exciting. It's a very thrilling thing. I'm learning a lot about myself through it. It's very rewarding.
Uh-huh.
I am learning that even if I set my alarm, I still can't get up early enough to water in the morning.
They have timers you can get.
Yes, I'm looking into that, actually. I'm looking into, like, timed sprinklers. That would be probably the best thing to do. So, yeah, that's so far. That's what I'm learning about gardening. You know what? It's a process, and there's a lot to learn. Gardening is not an easy thing. It's very complicated, and you learn a little bit every day about it.
Now, Matt, have you ever visited any? What would you call it?
Botanical gardens?
There you go. That's exactly the term. Yes, any sort of notable, famous gardens or museum-style gardens.
I have, as
Does
a
that
matter of
interest
fact,
you?
I have visited a few. There is the famous Botanical Gardens in New York, in the Bronx Zoo. I have visited botanical gardens in Washington, D.C. Those were probably some of my favorites because they have plants from all over the world there. And it's mostly indoors. So you can go like even when it's snowing out. That's fun. I've been to so many. This is definitely is like a lifelong thing that my wife is really into. Is like flowers and different plants and gardening. So we go to a lot of gardens. But they're fun. Have you been to gardens?
No.
Not really.
No, I don't think I ever have.
We'll have to take you to one. I would like to.
I mean, I can probably imagine what it's like.
Yeah, it's got a lot of flowers.
A lot of flowers,
nice.
and
They're good to smell.
I want to see. You got to see if we can find a hedge maze.
Oh yeah,
I want some interactive.
That
gardens.
would be awesome. Let's look that up. I'm really. Into
I don't know
that.
if they now not corn mazes. Those are cheap.
You're right.
I don't want to. I want a legit hedge maze, like fancy Victorian style hedge maze.
The nearest hedge maze to
Liverpool
me appears to be in. There's one in Staten Island.
Okay.
Who wants to go there? North Brunswick has one at Rutgers Gardens.
Hey, the famous Rutgers hedge maze.
We could check that out. There's also Wagner's Farm, which I have been to in Warren, New Jersey. We went to a Halloween thing there. That was a nice little. They had like pumpkins set out. I guess they have a hedge maze in the summer. Hedge maze near Sean's house.
Just put one in the backyard, man. I think it'd be great.
Are you near
my form of gardening?
Are you near Stowe at all? Is Stowe a town in your locale? No.
No.
Stowe, Mass.
No, other side of the state.
That's okay. Wrong way.
That's not that far away. Now, Matt, let me ask you a hypothetical question here, if I may.
Yeah.
You're talking about growing tomatoes. Are you growing any other vegetables, or are you just focusing on tomatoes this year?
I've got tomatoes, basil, and I wanna do green beans. Green beans is the next step.
Now, my hypothetical question was in the realm of fantasy, where you can grow any food in your garden. Maybe it's cans of beer or whole hams. Use your imagination. What food would you grow in your garden that you could pick fresh out of the garden?
That is a really good question, Sean. That is a really good question.
It's a tough one.
Okay.
I can go first if you need a minute to think.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Right now, I'm leaning toward Mongolian beef, but go on.
All right, yeah, keep thinking on that. No, I want a muffin tree. I want a muffin tree,
okay.
And I can get fresh made muffins, and just every morning just go and pick them off the tree.
And would they be like nice and warm and like they're fresh baked?
Absolutely,
of course they would.
Absolutely,
okay.
Yeah. And then at different times of year, they're different flavors.
That's okay. That's probably the best answer. I mean,
I think any baked good is probably.
I would love a muffin. Yeah, a muffin plant. We could have there would be like an orange muffin plant. That's a callback to an earlier episode. We would have a chocolate chip muffin plant, blueberry muffin,
a whole garden.
My wife's she's got a blueberry bush in the backyard. She's got a strawberry plant also.
Wonderful.
She's up on the fruit game. I think you're pretty. That's pretty good. A hard act to follow. Mine would probably be similar. I'd probably have a donut tree.
That's a good one.
Yeah, a donut plant would be like you could just go out there and pick any donut you want, like right off the tree, right off the vine.
But I like your idea of Mongolian beef. Like, I think a cooked dish. No, like if there was like a Big Mac tree or something, or like a.
Well, I wasn't. I was actually thinking. I think I was thinking about those skewers that you get at the buffet, that are like, I think they're chicken, not beef, but you get like those chicken skewers. I was just imagining going out and like picking them off of off of a vine, like the vine
like a
just has
cactus,
these, like skewers of meat on them,
pointy skewers sticking
them out. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Remember buffets, Sean? Remember how they were a thing?
You know, we should talk about that. I never was a big buffet guy growing up,
No?
or or even as an adult. I mean, obviously we've been to buffets together. But were you growing up like a big buffet kid?
I wasn't. I really wasn't. But we ate at home a lot. My mom is a really good cook, and she would typically make our meals. It was a rarity if we ate out anywhere. So I think a buffet was probably like maybe a once a year thing, maybe as like a special occasion, as like a end of the school year, graduation. Maybe birthday, we usually could pick where we wanted to go. Maybe could pick a buffet. But no, growing up, I was not a big buffet eater at all. I wouldn't say I was a big buffet eater later on, but when they're available, you know, it is a tempting prospect to just completely lose all of your morals and your dignity, and just have like an endless spree of food and feasting. I haven't been. I mean, I don't think anyone's been to a buffet in a long time, but I haven't been to one in a very long time. Probably since Marist, I would think.
Yeah, it's probably similar for me. I mean, I the thing I have about buffets is I don't like a Asian buffet because the foods just don't speak to me. I don't like the food mix in an Asian buffet. Something more like an old country buffet or a Golden Corral or something that's a little more American foods focus is usually a winner for me. Now, did you ever eat at a Ponderosa and or Bonanza Steakhouse?
No. Are those the Brazilian steak?
No.
Okay.
No, these are old. They started in the 60s.
Okay.
And it was funny. It's one of those, do you know, like Checkers and Rallies?
Yes.
Where it's like they were two separate businesses that had literally the same idea, and then eventually they merged.
Oh, okay. Like
it's Ponderosa and Bonanza are the same thing. They both opened steakhouses and eventually merged, and now it's just the same idea, just in different locations. But they had a buffet. Sizzler was the same way as well. I know it's more of a West Coast thing, but where you could get menu items, but they also had a buffet, and we would go there once in a while. There was a Ponderosa down the road, not too far, and that was again more of that American style, carved meat, mac and cheese and mashed potatoes type of sides. That's more my speed.
Ponderosa and Bonanza Steakhouses. This looks good. These look like you got some real American. Oh wow, I think Sean, just looking at this makes me want to take a nap.
Yeah, it's wild.
Chat. Whoa, it is. It's like a good night, sleepy time. Mashed potatoes, corn, mac and cheese, turkey.
Yeah, it's super. Super Americanized.
So, that's your kind of your style of buffet.
And I think I think there need to be more buffet concepts. Are you familiar with sweet greens or sweet tomatoes? I mean,
sweet tomatoes, like the
restaurant chain.
Oh, okay. No, I thought we were back on gardening.
It's on the West Coast. They actually went out of business during the pandemic, but it was a soup and salad buffet.
Oh. That sounds like a neat concept, but I also can see how they probably wouldn't have lasted.
Yeah, it's really more of a lunch spot. I don't know how you really bring in a dinner crowd with that.
Yeah.
But again, I want that innovation in. Like, is there? I guess Cici's Pizza is sort of like that, but I would love like an all pasta Italian buffet.
Yeah. Those are good. I'm kind of thinking of. Cici's is the one that has like just pizza, right? It's like
yes,
yeah. So we would go to Cici's once in a while down in Virginia, and that place was interesting because it was basically free to eat there. Like when you think about it in the long run, because you would pay like $5, and then you would get like you could have as much like of this like children's pizza as you want. And they would have like dessert pizzas, and like bottomless sodas. It was an interesting place. I just felt bad for everybody that was working there. I feel bad for most people that work at buffets.
Yeah.
And part of it is, I think it's just you get people that I guess can be very demanding or boisterous in a buffet. You also get the I kind of think when I see the people replacing the trays and like taking them out and putting new trays in, it's kind of like I feel and I'm not saying like people that are at buffets, but I feel personally kind of like a pig and like eating out of like a feeding trough, and it's like they're constantly changing it in and out. And then that's like, it makes me think about like why I'm at a buffet. But it's definitely been a long time. Do you think buffets will make a comeback, Sean?
I think they will. Do I think it'll be the same as it's always been? I don't know. I think it's going to be more like pre-packaged things where it's like instead of scooping from a vat of mac and cheese, it's like a little cup of already scooped mac and cheese, or an employee will put it on your plate kind of thing. But I just think the margins are so good in an all-you-can-eat restaurant, and they're so simple to cook that I don't see that changing.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think the ingredients and the cost is it's very cost efficient, isn't it? A buffet is
for the owners, yeah, because again, you just make the same 20 things over and over.
Yeah,
it makes sense to me.
Yeah, but you think it'll be just like a different? It'll be like arranged differently. Like you might just have pre-scooped things and pre-prepared things.
More covered things, and again, it just wouldn't surprise me if you had like an employee with 6 or 8 trays in front of them who scoop it and put it on your plate for you, so you're not touching anything. Which, frankly,
kind of like cafeteria style,
makes more sense. Yeah,
it does. It does. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Sean,
have you ever
what's that?
Have you ever heard of a smorgasbord?
I actually have. We went to one out in Pennsylvania,
the Shady Maple Smorgasbord. That's what I was going to bring up. I went there as well. The famously oversized buffet.
It is absolutely ridiculous. The type of that. The just the types of foods that they have, isn't it? Like unbelievable. The variety of foods. I just remember. It's kind of overwhelming, but.
It's obnoxiously massive, is the thing. So anyway, just want to mention that. Should we talk more about gardening?
I was going to say that you've got a hedge maze right by you, Sean.
What?
Are you at all close to the Springfield Museums in Springfield, Massachusetts?
I live in Springfield, Massachusetts.
You sure do. Yeah. So I'm saying, if you go to 21 Edward Street, you can go to the Dr. Seuss National Memorial Sculpture Garden.
Yes, I know where that is. Do they have a hedge maze there?
Apparently they have a hedge maze.
I had no idea. Matt, you should come up.
We
can do a tour of the Dr. Seuss Museum.
I have not been. I would really like to go. I'm a big fan, big supporter of the Seuss.
It's a newer museum. It's only been open for the last 3 or 4 years. Obviously, Dr. Geisel born in Springfield. Yeah, I think that'd be great. We can go to the hedge maze.
Yes. Can we stop for some green eggs and ham on the way?
This guy. I mean, just the quick wit on this guy. Oh, my word. Oh, boy.
Would not have them in a box.
You would not have them in Springfield.
In my socks. In the Red Sox. Yeah.
God, Massachusetts is amazing. We should do a whole episode on Massachusetts.
You know what? I'm amazed we haven't already. So I think we
That would be
should.
pretty great.
It's a cool. It is a neat state. I got married in Massachusetts.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
You did? It was very nice.
At a mass wedding. Lots to offer in Mass. Got a lot of different stuff out there. A lot of different mountains. You got the coast.
Matt, we've got everything from the
Got it
shores
all.
of Cape Cod to the skyscrapers of Boston and nothing else.
That's just one part of the state, Sean. Surely
No,
you've got a whole western part.
no,
worth
we really
exploring.
don't.
Many
Tell
people go to
anyone
the
not from
Berkshires.
Massachusetts you're from Massachusetts, and they say, "Oh, Boston," and I go, "Yeah."
But you're from ski country, Sean. You're from where the everybody loves.
No,
to ski.
Vermont is ski country. New Hampshire is ski country. We
Berkshires.
pose as ski country.
I don't know skiing, so I can't confirm or deny that. I do know that Vermont and New Hampshire are also popular ski destinations, but I'm sure people go to the Berkshires too to do.
They do. No, but that's more of a summer and fall thing, really, than a ski thing. Actually,
Oh yeah.
you know, for the hiking in the mountains in the summer and camping and things like that, and then the leaves in the fall and
yeah.
those sorts of things.
We should do that. We should go camping.
We said that
film
like
it.
every year for the past.
I know.
five
It's
years.
right around this time. Usually, it's right around the summer, and then we never do. So
Anytime you want.
we should do it. We should do
Anytime you
a
want.
camping trip to somewhere in New England.
Lots of beautiful places, no problem. And by the way, I'm assuming by camping you mean renting Airbnb in the woods,
Of
right?
course,
Like
Sean,
we don't have to
that was-
actually camp.
No, we would die. We would almost certainly die if we did really.
Did I tell you about the time we did that?
No.
I actually had a couple of the Maris folks up. We went camping up near Williamstown, up in the Berkshires, at a state park. So it was like legitimate camping. And I got there. You had to like book a minimum of 2 nights, but everyone was just coming for one. So I went up and set everything up like the day before, and was going to sleep there by myself overnight. And I was in the tent, and I was by the fire. I had a little fire. It was just pitch black, completely everywhere around me. And almost immediately, I hear like sticks cracking in the woods
My God.
around me, and I immediately am like, so I have a flashlight. I'm like
Bad
looking, and I
idea.
don't see. I'm sure it's like a squirrel or something. Like it's definitely not a big deal. But I'm like looking around, and I sit, and I'm like, my heart is racing, and I'm terrified. I'm like, no, it's okay. It's gonna be cool. And I hear another crack, and I run to the car, and I slept in the car overnight.
I would have done
Because,
the
like-
same. I would have driven to the nearest hotel and just left everything there.
I was
That
like,
is
I was
not my
all
scene.
alone. There was nobody there because it's not a popular state forest. There was nobody there. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna die.
Don't blame you, not even a tiny bit. No shame at all. I would have absolutely run away. You know what? It's natural to run away. Like you don't know what's in the forest. There's lots of crazy things in the forest. You say it might have been a squirrel, but it also just as easily could have been like a giant, massive bear, or it could have been like an eldritch monster. You don't like. There's lots of things out there.
And I clearly taste very good.
Yeah.
Can't do anything about that.
No. Like Mongolian beef.
Like Mongolian beef, which is a great band name, if that hasn't already been taken.
Yes, great. It is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Mongolian beef.
Sticks of Mongolian beef.
They can throw it out at the crowd as they perform.
I could see it.
Matt, what else would you like to say?
About gardening. Well, so far gardening is pretty easy. I have plants that have not died. It has been a number of days, and they're all good. I understand that like you have to like keep watering them and watching out for like diseases and things like that. But all I have to say is I'll keep you updated. I'll keep everybody updated on the progress of my garden, and hopefully you can come on by and get some tomatoes. I think I'm going to have a lot of them. I'm probably going to be swimming in tomato. I won't know what.
Matt, I got to tell you, when it comes to tomatoes, I absolutely hate them. So no, thank you. But will your garden finally convince you to get an Instagram? The people have been begging.
Well,
How are you going to share the good news?
You're right. I there's no way for me to humble brag other than this podcast. So I guess I'll probably have to get an Instagram. Then I can use it to take pictures of my garden, if anything. I did say before I needed a little hobby Instagram, like to keep track of the myriad things that I get myself into. So,
well, what about like at Matt's Garden? And it could just be an account for the garden. You don't have to share the rest of your life.
That's true. That's true. That's not a bad idea. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know.
See, I'm in marketing, Matt. I'm trying to promote your garden. I'm trying to get word out.
Like a new world for me. So yeah,
and then
I could. I think I might start out small though. I might just do one account for the gardening and for the what else? The baking and the other little things that I do. And then if one of them takes off and I'm getting really into one of them, I'll migrate my photos over to the garden only account or something.
You get the spin-off brand. I love it. Okay. Then the next step is going to be we've got to set up an outdoor camera so people can live stream and watch your garden as it grows.
You know, those are kind of big right now. Like I was listening to another podcast that was talking about this guy had a stream. He had it was on Twitch, and every evening he would like basically take his trash outside and dump it in the yard, and he had a camera set up and it would film the raccoons. And like hordes and hordes of raccoons would come and like devour this trash, and he recorded it all, and people would watch it. It was like really entertaining to them. So yeah, no, I think that could be an idea.
Something to think about.
Yeah. Raccoons are scary. I don't know. They're like
they have thumbs.
They do, and they have like claws. I don't know. I haven't
trash
seen the
monsters
yet, but they're
well, you're smart. Scary. You're keeping your trash covered.
They're kind of they look cute at first, but then they're like they can be mean. I don't know.
Raccoons are one of those animals where I see people online who have them as like domesticated pets,
mm-hmm.
and I'm like, you shouldn't have done that. Like I get
was a mistake.
Well, I get there's some animals where I'm like a cow who like grew up inside of a house. Like I'm not going to beef you too much because cows are like normally around people and on farms and stuff. We eat them for food and get milk from them and stuff. Like, but a raccoon is one of those things. Like, why would you have that? What is that for?
Yeah, it could be. And then they could get rabies, and they could like turn evil. Basically,
I don't think rabies turns you evil, but but yes, close, I guess.
I'm looking at. I googled raccoon, and then naturally, one of the things that came up was like how to know if a raccoon is rabid, and then it has like all these like really scary, angry pictures of raccoons, not being cute but being rabid and terrifying.
You know, Matt, that's a great question, a great conversation starter. Have you ever had rabies?
I have not.
Okay.
Thankfully, I have been rabies free for my whole life. I have actually seen a rabid raccoon before, though, in the wild. It was in my backyard, growing up, and that is an interesting story because we called. I was like a teenager. We called the animal control to come and get it removed. Animal control came. They shot the raccoon in our backyard. But they couldn't dispose of it because they said that is not what they do.
Right.
So they just left the dead raccoon in our backyard, and I think my dad put it in like a bag and had to drive it to the dump. So that was what happened. But it's sad. It's a sad thing. You got to feel for the raccoon.
Yeah. Animal control, sometimes helpful, oftentimes not.
Have you ever had to call animal control?
Yes, I did once. It actually is a semi-humorous story, but it was in the middle of winter, and my neighbor's dog was outside in the cold and had been out for hours. It's not an outdoor dog. It's like a little Chihuahua thing. I've been out there for hours and hours and hours. It was getting late. It was like 9 o'clock at night, and it was going to be below freezing overnight. And we're like, if that dog is out all night, it'll die. So I called, I called animal control, and they're like, that sounds like a police issue. Again, being helpful. So they referred me to the police. The police came by and kind of gave me a shrug, like, I don't know what you want us to do. And I'm like, I want you to, like, because the lights were kind of off in the house, but it looked like a TV was on or something with the lights off. So the cop goes up and knocks on the door. There's no answer, and I'm standing there with the cop, like, on the porch. I don't know why he let me do that. But then he goes to, like, try the doorknob, and the door was unlocked.
Oh.
So the cop, like, opens it and is knocking. Please open it up. And there, lying on the floor in front of the TV, was the guy in the house, face down on the floor.
Whoa.
I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
The cop thought he was dead. He was like, oh, my God. Like, we thought it looked like he had, like, fallen out of his chair and was dead. No, he was asleep on the floor.
Whoa.
He had passed out. And he didn't seem like drunk or anything. I mean, the dude was very overweight. So I don't know if he has health issues or something. But he was passed out, face down on his floor, and the cop, like, woke him up and was like, in retrospect, he probably should have called an ambulance, but he didn't. He was just like, hey, man, are you okay? And the guy was like, yeah, no, I'm okay. And he's like, you should bring your dog in. He goes, oh, yeah, sorry, I must have fallen asleep a couple hours ago. I'm really sorry about that. And then the cop just left, and that was the end of it.
Wow, that was a riveting story, Sean.
It was dramatic. It really was. The
Yeah.
dude with like the TV on in a pitch black room, and this huge dude was just like face down on the floor. He looked dead.
Wild
me and the
story.
cop were standing there. It was amusing. So that's when I called
thought this was
animal
going to
control.
be like you saved the man's life because he was like in the middle
Yeah,
of, like,
I
having
gave
a
him
heart
CPR or something.
and, like,
No, unfortunately, he just, I don't know if he fell asleep or what, but
at first I thought you were going to say that the dog was out there and like froze or something, and I was like, oh no, I feel bad for the dog.
no, it was heading in that direction. I'll tell you, it was really goddamn cold out. That was a very small dog.
I think you saved the dog's life. I think
You know, I may have saved the man's life. Who knows?
maybe the man's too. But
Ugh.
that was an interesting tale.
Yeah, that was a funny one.
Yeah, thankfully I have not had to call animal control yet, knock on wood. I did have that bat issue, which I don't know. Did I talk about that on the pod, or did I just talk about that with you?
I think we just talked about it.
Yeah, so I just had a bat. I think it crashed into my house because my wife was going into the backyard to water her plants. She heard a loud screech from one of the bushes. I told her to not go back there. This was like probably 5 o'clock in the evening. So the next morning, or the next day, next afternoon, I should say, she's home from work. I'm still at work. I get a text. I found out what was making the noise. Picture of a dead bat on our driveway. It was a small, little brown bat. And so I just got home and I had to bury it with my shovel. So it was buried out there by the tomatoes. Not like on the tomatoes, not the same patch, but
Well, it's food for the
in
tomatoes.
the area for the tomatoes. Yes, the grass. What is it? The grass helps the antelope eat. The lion eats the antelope, and we're all connected in the circle of life.
That might be right.
Yeah, I think that
might be right.
That's it. That's how it goes. So the bat helps the tomato eat.
And then Matt eats the
Matt eats
tomato,
the
and then Matt becomes a vampire.
Batman.
And yeah.
Vampire, yes.
You know, I was thinking about that, Matt. Maybe this is a good question to sort of start wrapping up the show on. Very relevant to our gardening discussion. Do you think if a man who was a werewolf bit a wolf, do you think that wolf would turn into a man on a full moon?
Wait, say that again?
So if a wolf bites a man,
Okay.
man becomes a werewolf, right?
Is that how it goes? I think you're thinking of vampires. I don't.
No. Well, how do you become a werewolf?
Is lichenism transferable among humans?
Yes.
Is it a virus?
Well, how else do you get it?
I think that you're just born as a werewolf. Isn't that the lore? I don't know the
No.
lore. I'm not up on the lore of werewolf, but
It's
think-
absolutely transferable.
I think if you get So what was the second part of your question? Assuming that is true, that lycanism.
So
is
if the idea is that a wolf or a werewolf bites a man,
yeah,
the man becomes a werewolf, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if a man who's a werewolf bites just a regular wolf,
oh, okay,
does it turn into a man?
No, it would turn into a werewolf. Because a werewolf is a half.
You're not. This is supposed to be amusing. You're not helping me out.
No, I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. I'm trying to scientifically parse this out. I think the werewolf to me is the cross point between wolf and man, right? So wolf on one side, man on the other. Man would become werewolf here in the middle. Wolf would become.
But there are some mythologies where a man who's a werewolf can go all the way to wolf.
All the way to wolf?
Yes, you become a wolf when you're a werewolf.
You become a wolf man.
No, you can become a full wolf.
What mythology is this? Twilight?
It's been in Twilight, but also in other movies and TV.
Okay.
Assuming that's true.
I want you to find one source for me that is
Twilight.
Not Twilight.
I just did it.
One that's not.
I just did it.
But now you have me curious because
by the way,
I didn't
according
think
to
werewolf transformation was like a virus, like.
Well, Matt, I have here the Wikipedia page for werewolf.
Okay.
Various methods for becoming a werewolf have been reported. Yeah, there's a lot of real crazy shit in here, including a satanic allegiance.
Yeah. See that?
Divine punishment.
Oh, this is interesting. Here, lycanthropy as a medical condition. Oh, that's a lot. There's a lot with that. Okay. Some doctors have suggested that rabies as the origin of werewolf beliefs, claiming remarkable similarities between the symptoms of the disease and some of the legends. It also ties in like folk beliefs. I'm trying to find if it's contagious. Nearly every culture in the world, Sean, has had some type of werewolf or werewolf-esque cultural belief.
Here you go. According to the Harry Potter wiki, in the Harry Potter universe anyway, lycanthropy is a magical illness known to be spread by contact between saliva and blood. Thus, when a transformed werewolf bites a human, the bitten will become a werewolf themselves.
All right, so in the world of Harry... Yeah, but also wizards can use spells to make their poop disappear. So, I don't know. I don't know if I would take Harry Potter as the gospel beacon.
I'm just saying, you wanted another example.
Okay,
I'm giving you examples.
You're right.
Up for me.
You're right, Sean.
I didn't invent this.
You fulfilled the second. You cited your sources. You did it. You did it very well. Yeah. This just talks about like a lot of cultural things. And I'm assuming you're right also because if like that lycanthropy has a medical origin in rabies, and rabies is contagious, then I think, therefore, we have our answer. So.
In Dungeons & Dragons, a werewolf, one of the actions is Bite. It is a melee weapon attack, +4 to hit, reach 5 feet. If the target is humanoid, it must succeed on a D12 Constitution saving throw or be cursed with werewolf lycanthropy from a bite.
I miss when we used to play D&D.
Yeah,
I think we should get back to it.
A long time ago.
It was. But it was fun. We had a lot of good times.
It was a hoot.
Good times.
It was a hoot. Matt, tonight I think we've talked about everything but gardening. Do you have any other gardening thoughts
No.
that you'd like to share?
I have exhausted all of them. I will keep everybody updated, and I hope that gardening will go well, but we'll see. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. Gardening's very hard.
Matt, I would say I believed in you if I did, but I think you can do it.
Yeah.
You're going to be great.
All right, cool. I appreciate the confidence.
Going to have so many tomatoes you won't know what to do. If anyone's looking for tomatoes, hit us up for debatetv@gmail.com. Maybe that could be a contest. Win Matt's tomatoes.
Sure. I mean, apparently I'll be drowning in tomatoes pretty soon, if the internet is to be believed.
Well, we can look forward to that. We're going to start to wrap it up here, though. UpForDebate.tv is our website. You can go there, get all the past episodes, which you definitely should. And, of course, subscribe wherever you get podcasts. We're on every major platform. I mentioned the email. You can also follow us at UpForDebateTV at Gmail. UpForDebateTV on Twitter. You can follow us there. Also, make sure to check out Don't Panic over at Don'tPanic.io. Myself, Colby and Dan every week. We're talking tech. And there's a lot going on in technology these days. There's some fun episodes over at Don'tPanic.io or wherever you get podcasts. Just search Don't Panic.
One of these days, I'd like to jump on Don't Panic, and I would like to talk to you about digital card collecting.
Oh, Matt, listen, the door is permanently open for you. So
Yeah,
any
we'll have to talk
Monday
about
night, you come on down. We'd love to. We want all kinds of perspectives on the show.
I also kind of want to talk about Kid Picks. Remember that game, Kid Picks?
I do remember Kid Picks. Absolutely.
That's something we can talk about.
That was one of those old Mac. Did you do it on a Mac?
No, I didn't use Mac at all. I think until high school. But why was it like made for Mac? Was it like better on Mac?
It was originally released on Mac before it came to Windows after that. But it, a lot of kids of a certain generation, of our generation, had those like bubble color iMacs back in the day with like the puck mouse, and it would be Kid Picks, it would be Oregon Trail, it would be a certain collection of software that every kid played. Kid Picks certainly among them.
Yeah. I think I'm remembering those computers. I've seen them in like magazines and things. They were different colors, right? Different like
absolutely varieties. With that nice clear plastic outline. The bubble in that clear color. Very cool. Classic computers.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta chat. I'll be definitely would like to pop in for an episode or two.
What a treat that would be. I'd love nothing more than that. Matt, this has been wonderful. We're going to be back next week with more wonderful Up for Debate. Until then, that'll do it for us tonight. He's Matt. I'm Sean. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time for another great episode of Up for Debate.